In the year 2347, humanity had reached the zenith of its technological prowess. The Earth was no longer just a cradle of civilization, but a beacon of innovation that stretched across the solar system. Colonies on Mars and Europa thrived, while orbital stations housed millions in zero-gravity utopias. But with progress came hubris and enemies. The Galactic Alliance, an interstellar coalition of advanced species spanning hundreds of light years, viewed humanity as an anomaly. A young race, barely 2 centuries into space exploration, yet bold enough to claim territory among ancient civilizations. To them, humans were reckless, unpredictable, and dangerous. A spark waiting to ignite chaos in their carefully ordered galaxy. It began with warnings. Diplomatic envoys from distant star systems arrived at Earth's doorstep, demanding curbs on human expansion. When those demands went unheeded, negotiations turned hostile. Skirmishes erupted along the outer colonies, skirmishes that escalated into outright war. Phase 1. The Annihilation Protocol. The Galactic Alliance struck first. Their fleets, massive, constructs bristling with plasma cannons and quantum disruptors, emerged from hyperspace near Jupiter's orbit. In mere hours, they obliterated the Martian colony, reducing it to molten glass. The moon base fell next, its defenders overwhelmed by superior numbers and firepower. By the time the invaders reached Earth itself, humanity's once proud fleet lay scattered like debris in the void. Earth's planetary defenses, though formidable, proved insufficient against the sheer scale of the assault. Orbital platforms, armed with railguns and particle beams, fired until their cores overheated and exploded. Cities below were reduced to ash under relentless bombardment. The skies burned orange as kinetic projectiles rained down, obliterating landmarks and infrastructure. Alike, humanity seemed doomed. The Galactic Alliance broadcast their victory across subspace channels, declaring Earth a necessary sacrifice for galactic stability. But what they didn't realize, what they couldn't have imagined, was that this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. Phase 2. The Spark of Resistance. Deep beneath the ruins of Geneva, Switzerland, the remnants of Earth's leadership convened in the Global Defense Nexus, GDN, a subterranean command center designed to survive even extinction-level events. Among them was Commander Elena Voss, a decorated officer who had overseen the defense of Luna before its fall. Her face bore the strain of defeat, but her eyes burned with defiance. "They underestimated us," she said, addressing the assembly. "They think we're broken, finished, but they don't understand what makes us human." Around her, holographic displays flickered to life, showing data streams pouring in from hidden bunkers and underground labs around the world. While the surface smoldered, humanity's ingenuity persisted below ground. Engineers, scientists, and soldiers worked tirelessly, pooling resources and salvaging whatever technology remained. "We've been preparing for something like this," continued Voss. "For decades, we've invested in adaptive warfare systems, capable of learning, evolving, and countering any threat. Now, it's time to unleash them." At her command, technicians activated Project Chimera, a classified initiative born out of desperation and foresight. Chimera wasn't just one weapon. It was an entire ecosystem of autonomous drones, AI-driven combat units, and biomechanical enhancements designed to integrate seamlessly with human operators. Phase 3. The counterattack within days. The first signs of resistance emerged. Swarms of insect-like drones, each no larger than a human hand, infiltrated the Alliance's orbital blockade. Equipped with EMP emitters and micro-explosives, they disabled key systems aboard enemy vessels, creating vulnerabilities that would soon be exploited. Simultaneously, humanoid mechs codenamed Sentinels began surfacing from underground bunkers. Standing 15 feet tall, these machines combined brute strength with unparalleled agility. Piloted by soldiers augmented with neural interfaces, they engaged alliance forces in urban combat zones with devastating efficiency. But the true game-changer came in the form of the EOS Array, a network of satellites repurposed from civilian communication hubs. Activated remotely, the array generated localized distortion fields that disrupted the Alliance's hyperspace navigation systems. Cut off from reinforcements and unable to retreat, the invaders found themselves trapped within Earth's atmosphere. As the battle intensified, humanity's adaptability became its greatest weapon. Civilian engineers repurposed household robotics into makeshift turrets. Hackers infiltrated Alliance networks, sowing confusion among their ranks. Even children contributed, using virtual reality simulations to predict enemy movements and relay strategies to frontline troops. Phase 4. The turning tide months passed, and the tide of war shifted inexorably in humanity's favor. What started as guerrilla tactics evolved into coordinated offensives. Entire cities rose from the ashes, transformed into fortresses bristling with experimental weaponry. The Alliance, accustomed to quick victories against less resilient foes, struggled to comprehend the ferocity of human resilience. One pivotal moment occurred during the siege of New Chicago. Surrounded by towering skyscrapers now reinforced with ablative armor, the city became a labyrinth of death traps for Alliance ground forces. Sentinels stalked the streets, ambushing patrols with surgical precision. Meanwhile, stealth fighters, equipped with cloaking devices, harried supply lines, cutting off vital resources. At the heart of the siege stood Commander Voss herself, leading a daring raid on an Alliance command ship hovering above the city. Disguised as a captured human prisoner, she infiltrated the vessel alongside a team of elite operatives. Once inside, they unleashed a virus developed by GDN cyberneticists, a self-replicating program that hijacked the ship's AI core, turning its own defenses against it. The explosion that followed could be seen from orbit, a fiery testament to humanity's refusal to yield. News of the victory spread rapidly, igniting hope among survivors and inspiring fresh waves of recruits to join the fight. Phase 5. The Reckoning. By the second year of the war, the Galactic Alliance faced a grim reality. Earth was not the easy conquest they had anticipated. Their losses mounted, their morale faltered, and cracks began to form within their coalition. Some member species questioned the wisdom of attacking humanity in the first place, arguing that coexistence might be preferable to endless bloodshed. Determined to end the conflict decisively, the Alliance launched a final, desperate gambit. Codenamed Operation Leviathan, it involved deploying a planet-killer weapon, a colossal asteroid fitted with fusion engines and guided toward Earth. If successful, it would render the planet uninhabitable, erasing humanity from existence. But humanity had other plans. Using data gathered from previous engagements, GDN scientists identified a critical flaw in the asteroid's propulsion system. A strike team led by Lieutenant Marcus Kane, a former asteroid miner turned soldier, volunteered for the mission. Armed with prototype drilling rigs and antimatter charges, they boarded the asteroid mid-flight and planted explosives deep within its core. The resulting detonation shattered the asteroid into harmless fragments, scattering them harmlessly across the solar system. For the Alliance, it was the final blow. With their ultimate weapon destroyed and their forces stretched thin, they sued for peace. Epilogue. A New Dawn, the Treaty of Sol, signed aboard the International Space Station, marked the end of hostilities. The Galactic Alliance formally recognized humanity's sovereignty over its territories and agreed to establish diplomatic relations. In return, Earth pledged to adhere to interstellar laws and contribute to collective security efforts. Commander. Voss addressed the assembled delegates, her voice steady but tinged with emotion. "We are not conquerors or destroyers," she said. "We are builders, dreamers, survivors. And if you seek to challenge us again, know this: we will adapt, we will endure, and we will prevail. As the delegates departed, leaving Earth to rebuild, humanity looked to the stars with renewed determination. They had proven themselves worthy adversaries, not through brute force alone, but through creativity, unity, and an indomitable spirit. And so, amidst the rubble of a shattered past, a new chapter began, one where humanity stood not as victims, but as equals among the stars.